Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Hope you are all doing well. Thank you very much for joining. Today is going to be my 2023 virtual assistant income video because I wanted to show all of you what my income for last year was as my job. You're going to be shocked at how little it is, but I will try and explain it as I go through. And I also thought it'd be really nice that if I film this now, this time next year I can compare what I did in 2023 and then 2024. I thought it'd just be nice for me to go back and look at, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to zoom you in and get started. I am filming this at a slightly different angle, so hopefully you can still see what I'm doing. I've got a different tripod because my one broke, so I'm hoping that this is still okay. If it's not, let me know and I'll try and figure it out. But zoom you in and let's get started. So January 2023 was my second full month being a virtual assistant. In December 2022, I had earned £550 from one client alone. So I went into 2023 with just that one client. I still had her in January and she paid me £450. That was literally just to sort her emails out. I was doing, I think, 13 hours a month for her. And back then I was still on £25 an hour. I'm now on £30 an hour. I've upped my prices because that is sort of the UK average for virtual assistants, £30 an hour, because you also pay your own national insurance and taxes. So you normally have to factor that in. So yeah, £450, not terrible, not fantastic, but I move. And then in February, I still had that one client, but we changed what work I was doing for her. Still emails, but I'd gone from 2 inboxes down to 1. So we sort of figured out how many hours I would need and we went to £243. So a bit of a drop. At this point I'm thinking, oh god, did I quit my full-time retail job a bit too prematurely? But I was like, no, we're going to be confident. I've got savings, we'll see what happens and just hope and pray. And then March rolled around, same thing, £243. So I was like, right, okay, we're obviously not doing great, but that's fine. And then April rolled around. Now the amount is less, but I did gain an extra client. So I will explain. In April, I signed a new client and it's a lovely lady from Canada. Can't really go into too much detail because of GDPR, but she signed me for 4 hours a month to help with social media planning. So I did no graphics or anything for her, didn't do the content or anything. I literally would send her a spreadsheet with 30 days of ideas, different breakdowns of hashtags, music to use in reels, stuff like that. That's one of my favourite things to do actually as a service. And then my other client who I'd had since December, she went on holiday, so she didn't need me for as many hours. So with those 2 clients and the less hours from client 1, we went down to £239.25. So my Canadian client pays me via PayPal, and PayPal take a fee. So even though I'm only charging her for the hours I work, PayPal take like £4 or £5 off the top of that, and like so many pennies. So that's where the 25 pence come from, because they took 75 pence and so much off of me. So that's where we're at. And then we go into May, which is the worst month I had for money. So for 2.5 weeks of May, I was in Florida, so obviously was not able to do any work. So didn't get paid for anything. So I come back from my holiday in May. I did the 4 hours of work for my Canadian client, and my first client didn't need me that month because while I'd been away she'd figured out sort of an email system and she wanted to try it herself for the rest of May, and I said that's fine. So with May I only got £78.12, which is quite a drop from the month before, but an even bigger drop from the January. So at this point I am now thinking, oh my god, I have really fucked up here. I have made a big mistake, and I started panicking. So at the end of, I think, June, that's when I ended up going on to Universal Credit, and I was only on that until September because June wasn't fantastic either. But my first client came back, she hired me for 1 hour, that's all she needed, and then she was like, actually, do you know what, I think I'm going to be taking some time away from the country. There's some stuff happened with her personally, which obviously can't go into detail about, but she now no longer needs me. So I lost my first client, but I still had my Canadian client, and I did a lot of work for her in June. So that came to £104.25. So I was like, okay, it's fine, we got one client. it's going to be all right. And at this point, that's when I was starting to look into universal credit, and I applied and I got it. And like I said, I got paid universal credit, I think July, August and September. And then it was cancelled after that because I didn't need it anymore, because I then got more clients. Spoiler. Then in July, my dentist, who's the one that actually does my own teeth, they remembered that I did social media as my work. And even though I hadn't physically done any graphic creation yet, they actually hired me to do their social media for them, which was amazing. So because of them and my Canadian client, July's pay was £303 and 3 pence. A lot of threes. And that was my first proper go at doing social media. And I was quite open with them about the fact that I said I have done like planning before, but I've not physically done the graphics before, but they liked what I had on my own account. And because they know me and they know I'm going to be going back to them about my teeth and everything, they already knew me, they already liked me, they already trusted me. And that is fantastic. So I went off, did the graphics, did the copy, and I've been working for them now since July. And I absolutely love it. They also invited me to their Christmas staff meal, which I got to go to, and that was so nice of them. And it's really weird getting to see them all outside of like their dental scrubs, but it was amazing. And then we roll into August, and now this is where things started to ramp up a little bit, because I then also signed another client, and this was a beautician lady who I'd been speaking to since September 2022. I'd been like talking to her on and off. And she eventually was like, I really need some help with some research. Could you help? So I had the dentist paying me, I had my Canadian client, and I had this beautician lady. So she originally only hired me for 2 hours to do some research for her. But as time went on, she actually then asked me to do some social media for her. And she obviously paid me for that at the end of August. So August, which I was like, okay, we're getting back on track, was £507 and 42 pence. And I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. We've got 3 clients now. Fantastic. And I've been working with the beautician now since July, and we talk pretty much every day on WhatsApp because we've constantly got ideas bouncing back and forth. We call ourselves Workaholics United. I absolutely love her. She's one of my favourites. And it's nice getting to talk to her. I actually had a phone call with her today, which was really nice. But yeah, she's a dream. Love her. And it's beauty related, which is one of my favourite things. So I really enjoy it working for her. Then in September, I took on some extra work from my beautician. Still got paid by the dentist, still had my Canadian client. However, my Canadian client didn't need anything from me in August because the work that I was doing for her, she didn't need me to bill her until September, which is fine. But then I think I billed her at the very end of September, so it come under October's pay. But September was really good and it became my best month so far, of £622. So that is from my dentist and my beautician only. The beautician has a clinic and an online skincare shop, so I'd do like 2 businesses for her. So she was getting me to do an awful lot of things. And then also in September, which I forgot to mention, I applied for a lead associate role, sorry, not a lead VA. My brain went completely wrong then. So I'm helping another virtual assistant with their clients because they're at capacity. And she started me off with 10 hours a month, which I think was £200. So I think that was in September. I can't remember if it's September she paid me or October. I think it was September, so it would have been from her, yeah, the lead VA and my 2 clients. So that was great. Then October rolls around and my lead VA says, hi, do you want to do 30 hours this month? And I was like, yeah, sure, I've got the capacity, let me go for it. I did that. I took on a lot of work for my beautician because we were getting stuff ready for Black Friday, which granted isn't until November, but we were trying to get ahead of that. So it was done like in October. And I was meant to have some work for November, but my lead VA paid me in October for it. So October is so far my highest amount to date. It's still not going to be as high as you guys think, but it was high for me. So it was £1,300 and 60 pence. So that is from 3 of my own clients because my Canadian client needed some work again, and also the lead VA work that I was doing. Plus that went towards some of my November money. Had that November money gone in November, my November money probably would have been the highest, but it's fine. but because it went in a couple of days too early, we were just trying to get ahead with the invoices. My November pay came out to £1,007.12, which I'm still really happy with that, because November we did an awful lot of work, and again with November a lot of that was gearing up ready for Christmas things with my beautician client, and that was just a lot to do. And then December rolls around and my lead VA once again says, do you want to do 30 hours? I said yes, but I'm only doing 3 weeks of work in December because I had a week off for Christmas, so I had to squeeze everything into 3 weeks, which I'm not gonna lie was completely manic the last week before Christmas week. I was a little bit stressed come the Wednesday and Thursday, but we got through it, and then I was off on the Friday. I also did a bunch of work for my beautician client and my dentist client for January, so it was ready, so I wasn't having to like come back on the 2nd or 3rd of January, whichever day it was I came back, and have to do like 2 weeks of work. So I was like getting prepped ahead. So I did a bunch of work for them, which was so nice. And then my December pay, which was incredible. Again, not my highest, October is my highest, but December was second highest, with £1,236.66, which I am chuffed with that. But I can tell you now, my lead VA, I do 40 hours for her now, so I'm having a guaranteed £800 a month just from her alone, which freaking awesome, considering that in May I made £78.12. Like, everything suddenly started coming together in like the last 4 months of the year, especially October, November, December specifically. The last quarter of the year was absolutely amazing for me, and I will tell you now, even when that £78.12 was all I made in May, I still had no desire to go back to my old job because that place was toxic. So this, very, very happy with. I just moved you down a bit so I can do the total. If you've managed to work out how much all of that was without a calculator, congratulations, because I had my accounting software open and I still couldn't figure out how much that was. So my grand total for the whole year was £6,334.45. Write that down here. And that was obviously with the first like 7 or 8 months of the year being not great, with only 1 or 2 clients, and then it sort of like ramped up from here, which was so good. Like, thrilled with how well everything's going now. I think I worked out now that minimum a month I should be on at least £1,000 plus per month going forward with everything I've got arranged with my clients. So we're getting there very slowly but surely, and I'm still enjoying it, which is the main thing. Now this is maybe just under half of what I was getting at Morrison's, because honestly Morrison's, they paid well for holiday and when I was off during the pandemic, but otherwise the pay was LOL. So I'm fine with that. I survived the year on it, so obviously it's working. But anyway, so that is the total, £6,334.45. As a virtual assistant, self-employed, we have to do tax and national insurance separately, and because I'm a digital based business, it's normally 30% of your income. There are slightly different rules depending on self-employed. I had to like call someone at HMRC to double check like how much it would be. Not all of this will go because I haven't quite hit that threshold yet. I probably will by the end of February, so I will definitely have to pay some tax and national insurance, but it definitely should not be as much as I've had to set aside for it, because as soon as I get paid, 30% goes straight into my tax and national insurance pot, and if I don't end up having to pay anything from it, that becomes a very nice payday for me in like April, May, June, whenever it is that I can do that. So I'm happy to put it aside. I try not to look at it. There's a few hundred in there, but I won't lie, I did take 400 out because I had a bunch of expenses that I needed to pay for, and I was like, I know already I'm not gonna have to pay the full amount on all of my income because I wouldn't have made enough, and even if I suddenly earn £1,000 a month going forward, I'm only just over the threshold, so hopefully I won't have to pay too much. But 30% of that comes to £4,434 and 11 pence. So that is what my take home pay technically is at the moment. That will probably go up, like I said, national insurance might not come off everything. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope that made sense. If you have any questions about virtual assistant stuff, you're always welcome to ask in the comments or message me on Instagram, which is linked below. I have an Etsy shop as well. That is also linked below if you're interested. I've got some like savings challenges and stuff on there. But otherwise, that is me done. I'm now going to go rest because I've got a cold still. I've really had to try and not cough so much. I've edited out as much of the coughing and me sounding awful as I can. I've re-recorded parts because I was like raspy. So hopefully this will make sense in the final edit for you guys. I'm sorry if it doesn't. But anyway, I hope you're all having a great day. I don't know when I'm uploading this, but I will see you guys in a video again soon. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.